Country Garden signals default, hires advisors as sales plunge. Firm says it expects it will not meet all offshore payments. Builder is at the center of China's worsening property debt crisis. And guys, welcome back to the channel. We've talked about this quite a bit, both the Evergrande situation and now Country Garden. And essentially, it looks like we're seeing a meltdown in China's real estate market. But we've been seeing this for quite a long time. I said we've been talking about this since last year. And the first thing that came to my mind was that, that song from the Breakfast Club is like, don't you forget about me, right? Hey, hey, hey. And I can't sing, but I can read. The thing is about this is, when we, they often say like, no news is good news. But I feel like in this situation with the China real estate stuff, no news just means that they're trying to keep stuff secret and hasn't quite yet boiled to the surface until they finally have to tell you. And this is a quote coming from Country Garden where they finally have to tell you, this is talking about Country Garden here, expects that it will not be able to meet all of its offshore payment obligations when due or within the relevant grace period. So first they're saying, okay, I owe you, we can't pay you, and maybe we can't make that grace period either. Not so great. Including but not limited to those under US dollar notes, right? So this means there's definitely we're not going to pay you in dollar, and we're probably not going to pay you in other money either. And I make joke, but the people who are owed money probably not so happy about this. Such non-payment, keep saying the same kind of language, may lead to relevant creditors of the group demanding acceleration of payment of the relative indebtedness owed to them or pursuing enforcement action. Like, look at this language. So you're not paying us, pay us faster. I don't know how that's going to help because they can't already pay you already. And then they're saying your enforcement action. I mean, what are you going to do? Arrest me? And we've already seen arrests with Evergrande. It was like the CEO, the CFO, then we had the founder arrested. I'm sure there's more because they've said that there's more. We just don't know like who. They're tight-lipped on this stuff. Again, let's just see this more here. The battle property developer Country Garden said on Tuesday it was unable to repay the loan, plunging sales, China's property, spiraling property crisis. And then they're saying here, the announcement made on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is effectively a statement from Country Garden, once China's largest home builder, right? So we're talking about like really big, largest here. And it is likely to default with roughly 187 billion in liabilities. And I don't have to explain to you, that's quite a bit of money. And there's going to be multiple creditors involved. I mean, everyone's going to be trying to claw back what money that they can possibly get. Moreover, it says here, Country Garden is one of the biggest casualties in China's imploding, exploding, depends on what word you want to use on the day, imploding real estate market, which has sent Evergrande, another giant property developer, into bankruptcy. If you guys remember that, they did that. That was like a couple weeks ago. Here's more quotes coming out of them. Prevailing market conditions have made it difficult for the group to procure sufficient cash to enhance its liquidity position within a short period of time. Like, we can't get the money. We can't get the money quickly. I mean, are they ever going to get the money? Consequently, the group's cash position remains under significant pressure. So assuming that they have cash, they're just saying here cash position. I mean, you can take that however you want. And I guess here, this says, Country Garden pre-sales, unfinished apartments, and important indicator of future revenue fell for the 6th straight month. So they just keep selling less and less and less and less and less. And that is 81% down from a year ago, and then 44% from the same period a year earlier. What is this here? That was down 81% from the same month a year ago. For the first 9 months of 2023, pre-sales were down. Okay, so we're talking about sales and pre-sales. Unfinished apartments here. Basically, sales are down. Actually, I have a chart on this I want to show you too. I mean, you can read headlines here. Country Garden succumbs to debt crisis after sales drop. Here's a chart in the sales, basically. It's a one-way ticket. You guys know which direction that way is going. They just can't sell enough stuff. Because we're talking about unfinished apartments. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess they're selling it at a discount, but it's unfinished. You don't know when they're going to finish it because they're in debt. And this chart here shows you long-term debt and current debt. And what these developers keep trying to do, because I keep seeing headlines of this, is they keep trying to restructure said debt. Basically, okay, we can't make the payment this time. What if we like make it a 50-year loan? What if we try to lower the payments and then can't pay it, or as I said in the article we just said, is where creditors like, I don't want to restructure it. I want you to pay me more now. So I mean, I don't believe it at this point. you decide to get as much money as you can back. Now, this is where it even gets worse. This is from Evergrande now. And I know we've been talking about a lot of the situation in Ukraine, which of course, not Ukraine, sorry, has another one. Ukraine is the war. Evergrande is the real estate crisis, and now Country Garden in China, right? Two of them. And then I meant to say Israel and Palestine. We have so basically three major crises going on right now. I would say two are obviously fine. It's so much. Two are military, which obviously have a financial application, and then this one's a financial one. But China is the second largest economy in the world, and it is a meltdown. I don't know. There's no other way to put it. And like I said, there's so much news going on. It's hard to keep track of all of this. So this is Evergrande. What was the headline here? Evergrande investors warn of uncontrollable collapse. So that's worse than controllable, uncontrollable. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having troubles keeping track of all this stuff. There's just so much. China's Evergrande 11th hour cancellation restructuring affecting more than 19 billion in international bonds. So what, you're not paying us? Catastrophic effect. And I don't want to hear this kind of stuff. So this kind of stuff, all you can do is laugh. This is how that's been going out for Evergrande. Evergrande had the equivalent of more than 332 billion in liabilities by June. I've heard different numbers on this stuff. I've seen some numbers are it's 800 billion in liabilities. Really a lot. Major numbers. And then moreover, as I mentioned, people getting arrested. This was another headline. Again, all this stuff has been falling under the radar because of the situation in Israel and Palestine and the war between Israel and Hamas. Chinese copper tycoon goes missing. What? Believed to be detained by police. And it's what the heck? Now, if you remember, and I got to keep track of this stuff, we've had the foreign minister from China basically disappeared, and you had the head military minister, so that was basically from China, so a couple of the people in the cabinet, and then you had these high-profile arrests involving Evergrande. Now we have a Chinese copper tycoon goes missing, and then we had there was another big investor that was they basically took his passport and said you can't leave China, and then there was a couple people like that. Like I said, there's so many to keep track of. It is unreal. And here it says here, executives at one of China's largest copper trading houses, what are we talking about copper for all of a sudden, have lost contact with the company's founder and believe he has been detained by the police for questioning, according to people familiar with the matter. And this kind of stuff, if you understand how this works, is they try to keep it quiet, but when you're talking about, what is this, the founder of the copper trading thing, and people are hey, have you seen what's his name here? He Jinbi, He Jinbi's not coming to work. Where is he? And you're I don't know. And then, it's hard to keep secret, and the police can't just deny it. And moreover, this is crazy. So, because I know sometimes people say stuff it's just in China, what does it have to do with me? If there's a slowdown in orders at your company, say in USA, because the money's not there, or if you're working on a construction site or any sort of, real estate development, and you're hey, why are we stop production? Because the money's not there, right? The people need to be paid. And then, when Bob doesn't pay Joe, and Joe didn't get paid from right here, HGB, right? And HGB, also owed money to Franny, and Franny's Sally, where's my money? And you get my point. It's just it's a domino. Moreover, and this is sort of why I want to bring in a Korean perspective. As you know, we live in Busan, Korea. My wife is Korean. We saw this news. This has been a major problem here in Korea. True story. So the headline has to do with real estate deposits. So our system is really, really different. Basically, people give super big deposits to go apartments, houses, etc. And it could be as much as 100,000 up to 500,000 or whatever, like major deposits. It's really different than USA, where you just give a couple months rent. You give big deposits, and then the idea is the real estate people will use that money to reinvest, etc. So it's just a cycle chain of borrowed money on borrowed money, owed people money. And evidently, this is just yet another scam. Oh, the numbers are about 300 million on this one. And this is just a couple scammed people, 300 million. The police have been contacting. There's 53 people being scammed here. This couple own 40 to 50 buildings. And the victims are mostly young people in their 20s and 30s, so they have very little recourse. This has been a problem here in Korea of these sort of basically landlords losing your money and screwing a lot of young people. And so that's kind of the theme of the day is, people aren't paying people that they owe back and saying, I don't think it's going to come back. And then what are you going to do? If you arrest someone, it doesn't really help them give you your money back. I'm sure you guys see what I'm saying. So I just wanted to bring this news to you. I'm sorry it is bad news. I mean, on the positive note, at least we're getting news of this, opposed to, no news is good news. It's not like that. It's more like no news is like, I don't know what's going on, but it hasn't disappeared. And this is a real thing. Unfinished buildings and, people who took out mortgages to, pay for what they figure would be their dream home. And then, you're stuck with neither a home and nor your money. It's a terrible situation for regular people in China, and you have no recourse. So I sympathize with all the people involved with this. And please share your thoughts on these things. And and also, too, depending on, we have viewers from all around the world. Are there any real estate meltdowns happening in your country or construction sites? Do share. Like I said, we're affected here in Korea. A lot of real estate scams going on lately. It's been all over our news. I know it doesn't hit the national news and say in USA or otherwise, but it is a real thing here. And again, in China, we're having a meltdown where essentially the big developers aren't paying back people that they owe. And this involves, and they literally say here, foreign investors. So please share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next video.